So next is Information and Telecommunication Systems Business. The presenter is Executive Vice President and Executive Officer, President and CEO of Information Telecommunication Systems Group, Mr. Yutaka Saito. Good morning. Thank you for the introduction. I am Saito. Information and Telecommunication Systems Business. I am the President. So let me talk about the Information Telecommunication Systems Business strategy. First, let me start off with the 2015 Midterm Management Plan. 3G, Growth Global Group. This is the policy to become a global major player by 3G. 2.1 trillion in fiscal year 2015 and 200 billion operating income and overseas revenue ratio 35%, service revenue ratio over 65%, or close to 70%. The result for fiscal year 2013 is on the far left. Revenue 1,934 billion, operating income 106 billion. Overseas revenue ratio and service revenue ratio looks like this in the table. Now there was some reorganization of the segments in the company, and therefore the number is a little different from last time. Next, please. Now this is our target position. Market trends are changing. As you know, recently, IT is being utilized and big data is utilized. Marketing, manufacturing line, production line, and in other areas, IT is utilized to achieve innovation. Vertical integration or horizontal integration, such system development will progress throughout the world. And therefore, the paradigm shift in utilizing services will accelerate. And various players, such as GE and Siemens and other companies, will utilize IT and enter into the service market. And so the competition in the market will intensify through various entries of various players. And the IT trend is shown on the lower left. Japan is rather sluggish. The growth is rather low, but global market will see a solid growth. And therefore, this is what we want to capture. This is Hitachi's mission. But our target position on the right side, social innovation business and IT system as a driver will be pursued as one team. So this is the mission of Hitachi. Hitachi, 10 trillion and 70%, 7% operating income will be the target. We want to utilize IT and exceed 2 trillion and 200 billion respectively. Next, please. Next is the business policy. As I just said, we will support the entire Hitachi and use Hitachi to grow our business. So in a way, companies and R&D will collaborate with one another from mining to manufacturing on the upper part and expand global services business. And to do that, we need to establish a management model. First, we will start from consulting. That can be a driver of Hitachi. The solution capabilities will be strengthened, centering on Hitachi Consulting. And the other is, as a future trend, data will be utilized. So data management will be utilized. The IT service platform, social analytics, and SNAC, and security. These words are now coming out. So data usage platform will be the focus to bolster the IT service platform, through which we will grow our business. Next, please. Now, high added value in global business. Service of a value chain and the platform. Expand platform service. We will use the company and use the consulting as a leverage and shift to a service and grow Hitachi's profitability and our profitability. We will create customer value. This will be the core of our business expansion. And the other is the new data usage platform. We will try to make this high value. The underlying platform will be developed as solution and service so that we can achieve high value. Fortunately, we have Hitachi Consulting and Hitachi Data Systems, HDS. We have these companies that have global platform, so these will be reinforced. Consulting will aim for Tier 1, and Hitachi Data Systems will utilize its marketing capability to evolve into solution business and expand the business. Next, please. Global service businesses reinforcement. Some examples. First is social innovation business, strengthening innovation initiatives. The data is being utilized and notice and turn this into intelligence and cause innovation. So this is where we will utilize information. We will collaborate within the company to expand this social innovation throughout the world. We will utilize Hitachi's strength and collaborate within the company through POC, proof of concept. As Kitano-san mentioned, in healthcare, we will collaborate with Hitachi Data Systems and smart logistics. Collaborate with our logistics unit to see how we can cause innovation in the field. These projects are underway. And the innovation base, we have a big data lab in areas in the world. We send researchers into POC and research and development to strengthen our innovative power. Our information staffs, like you see in the solution delivery capability, BI and data analysis will become more and more important, so we will bolster consulting capabilities for BI and data analysis to increase our service business capability with Hitachi Solutions and Hitachi Systems, including M&A, so that we can form and support the social innovation business of Hitachi. Next, please. Second is about the Japanese market. In Japan, we require innovation. Projects are trying to meet the needs of customers and changes. But our SE's capability is, in short, lacking, and therefore we had some project glitch or some disruptions in 2012 and 2013. So we will take measures. And finally, in fiscal year 2013, we have been able to resolve these problems. So we will strengthen project management and execute risk control from upstream and proposal capability so that we can establish the innovation teams in Japan to prepare for the future needs. You see large SI projects. Customers are now having deals that can cause innovation. One is Shizuoka Bank. The next generation core system with Shizuoka Bank. We want to create a package and develop this. And pension, the Social Security and tax number system and employee pension systems. These are also being underway. We will work on these and develop our business in Japan as well. So that's my first point. And with that, in Japan, power generation is an issue. And so we want to increase our service capability. In March of this year, Hitachi Systems Power Services was established. This is an information subsidiary with TEPCO, of TEPCO. So social infrastructure, company with customer know-how, customer information will be established. This system will be established in Japan. And utilizing that, we will develop globally. Third point, global expand service across the entire value chain. As I mentioned earlier, business going forward will be component, system layer to vertical layer. In other words, we have to think of the entire value chain. System integration, service will be developed accordingly. Here you see the financial channel solutions. Hitachi Omron Terminal, ATM equipment, ATM machine is the business. Value chain expansion from equipment shipment to maintenance was done. Now, payment service will be added here. March this year, Indian Prism Payment Service Company in India was acquired. This provides ATM and POS outsourcing services. So from ATM to management to operation to maintenance. So the service value chain development will be tackled, including M&A, to expand this business and expand globally. So that's the third example. Next, please. Fourth, platform. Platform is the usage of data, innovation through usage of data. And this platform will be the foundation going forward. So our storage team will be high value added with software so that we can deal with the software and services. Hitachi Data Systems will be unified and strategize in North America and use the strategy to develop business. Infrastructure, which is the traditional format, from storage servers and components to data content, cloud, up to application and information. Convert data to intelligent by analytics. So from component to solution to service is being established. In April this year, a new storage platform, G1000, was released. We will reinforce product development and develop the solution so that we can have a platform that can utilize the information. So this is the kind of platform business that we would like to develop, converting data to intelligence by analytics. Fifth, new customer value for a new basis. As you see, R&D, consulting, and service providing bases are in Europe, in North America, and in other areas of the world. Realizing new customer value is our target. We work with R&D, do investment, and deal with the future innovation. In April this year, Global Service Control Center was set up in North America. Mr. Watanabe, CSO, is now sent to the US so that Hitachi Consulting is not just the information consulting company, but Hitachi's consulting company. So this system is in place now. We hope that we can utilize this as the company-wide consulting function. Next, please. The global business plan from 2013 to fiscal year 2015. Hitachi Data System, Hitachi Consulting, and we have collaborated to develop the solution and develop the business. North America and Europe will reinforce the solution and continue the investment. For Asia, we will do alliance and further investment to expand the service and improve the competitiveness to grow our business. In China, one Hitachi approach will be used to expand the solution business. From 13 to 15, 150 billion sales increase is expected. Domestic headcount will be maintained and overseas headcount will be increased. In fiscal year 2015, we expect to have a total of 78,000 personnel. Next, please. Strengthening management foundation. Here, cash flow management strengthening and the management structure strengthening. For cash flow management, we have a company-wide SCM reform project and Hitachi Smart Transformation project. So we will ally with that for higher profitability and a higher efficiency of cash usage. So we will expand cash flow and conduct strategic investment. This is to expand the investment and conduct R&D and POC to reinforce the vertical service. Through these actions, we will try to enhance the efficiency of our capex and investment and selection. We will generate cash and conduct investment and grow the company. This action will be reinforced. And the management structure strengthening. We have Hitachi Solutions and Hitachi Systems. The HR portfolio will be centralized to develop the experts who can be active on the world basis. By the end of fiscal year 14, we will establish this structure to prepare for fiscal year 15. And there are some changes in the customer's business environment, so we will change accordingly and act quickly and flexibly. Next, please. This is Hitachi Smart Transformation Project progress. For fiscal year 2013, there were some project disruptions, so the cost ratio increased somewhat. SG&A, fiscal year 2013 SG&A improved year over year. This is because the indirect operation reform progressed. Indirect cost will be improved and IT will be integrated to reduce the cost. Steady reduction in manufacturing and direct procurement costs. We will accelerate cost reduction for SI, reform the resource portfolio, and increase internal production rates. And then at the bottom, you see cost reduction effect. This includes the projection of the market cost. From 14 to 15, we have a 37 billion smart transformation project impact. Now, this is the financial results. 2011 through 2015, you have different colors because there were some changes. 2013, service is 62%, which will exceed 65% in 2015, or 68 or 69%. In 2013, you see a jump because of the foreign exchange fluctuation, but this is the trend that we would like to achieve. Now, this is the sales by segment. System Solutions, Platform, and the Telecommunication. There are eliminations in others, so it may not be easy to understand, but and service is in each area, so it may not be clear-cut. But sales and operating income will grow at this pace. Next, please. Last, target for fiscal year 2015, revenues 2.1 trillion. Operating income ratio 9.5%. Global, we want to become a global major player through 3G and to support the entire company. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'd now like to move on to the Q&A. In addition to Mr. Saito, we will have Mr. Shiotsuka of the System and Service Business Information Telecommunication System Company, and also Mr. Otsuka of the same company, and Mr. Terada, the Finance Management Office of the Information Telecommunication System Company. The floor is now open. Question. Thank you very much for the detailed explanation. I would like to ask two questions. Regarding slide 19, you've talked about the 200 billion for the ultimate goal. In terms of operating income increase seems large. What are the drivers to achieve this number? The second question is the following. It is more abstract in nature. Now, in the IT service industry, why is consolidation not occurring? Please state your view. There are a significant number of players, and especially in the domestic market, the customers are segmented. Therefore, I believe that many of the companies, including yourselves, are developing their business overseas. But then domestic manufacturers will be competing in the overseas market as well. I understand that in reality it is very difficult. But why isn't there consolidation amongst the domestic players? What is hindering consolidation in the industry? Please state your views. Answer. In terms of operating income, looks large is the first question. In reality, this is a result of STP as well as the change in the portfolio. We are shifting our focus into service business, and that is the reason why we can generate this income. For 2013, on my part, I was not satisfied with this number. But in terms of telecommunications business, it was lower than expected. Because of the careers investment model has changed. M2M is what we wanted to pursue in terms of collocation, but there was some delay, so there was a decline in this area. Now, in terms of information regarding power systems, is also another point I'd like to emphasize. It was sluggish, and the number of projects were subject to decline. So for 2013, there were many negative factors. That is the reason why growth was limited. For 2014, on the other hand, the service business in 13, 14, 15 should expand by 200 billion, excluding SI. Because we have several tens of billions in terms of stock, we are going to accumulate this. Therefore, income should be generated significantly from this end. And the major projects that were loss-making will run its course. Therefore, we believe that 10 billion or so profit can be obtained, and there will also be STP effect as well. 2014, 2015, inherently we should do more, but we have invested. For 2014, 136 billion should be larger, but we are making investment. For 2015, we will be recovering this. That is the reason why there will be increase. So it is the effect of STP as well as loss-making businesses will have run its course, and also changes in portfolio. That is the reason why we believe that the income level can be generated. Now, to your question regarding consolidation, I also feel the same as you have outlined. But in Japan, inclusive of customers, the environment is not conducive for consolidation. So inherently, we should consider what we should do to become competitive globally. But in each industry, it is very difficult to consolidate in Japan, and it may be more possible overseas. Therefore, in terms of consolidation, if we take a global perspective, it could be accelerated according to my view. That's the first point. However, having said that, on the part of Hitachi, are we going to pursue consolidation in the industry is a question. But looking at the environment, GE is now making entry into IT, focused on service. Siemens, on the other hand, in Germany, the fourth revolution is being pursued as industrialization 4.0 is being pursued. So manufacturers are utilizing ID and pursuing vertical as well as horizontal integration, so that they are trying to consolidate everything into their system. And in terms of IT system, in Hitachi, to externalize the IT division may be required to be competitive in the future. So IT divisions are in the companies as well as group companies, and they will do their utmost to grow the system. As if information telecommunication is outside, and it was pursuing growth. And we are dealing with them as if they were customers, establishing a foundation based on this relationship. And the infrastructure group can work together to drive innovation. If we try to establish such a structure, to externalize ID, to merge with others, may not be the best course for us to take. Therefore, if we are going to pursue consolidation, if it's going to internalize, I would be in favor. But if it's going to be externalization, I do not necessarily think that is the best course, according to my view. Question. Thank you very much for your response. That's the end of the question.
So person at the wall, at the back, please. Question. I have two questions. First, regarding big data. Last year, you said that you had the target of 150 billion. What is the current POC to business? What are the challenges in this process? Second question. On May 15th, the National Diet Library, there was an undue acquisition of information. What is the impact on the business going forward? So, answer. National Diet Library. I have some points that I have to reflect on myself. I think I need to have a session to explain. This is the information asset of National Diet Library. And our SE had the information, but they saw what they were not supposed to. And we feel deeply sorry for this. And this should not have happened. We are having a thorough investigation internally. And we already have the conclusion of why this happened. And we are considering the countermeasures and the dispositions. We are still in the process, so I cannot share with you the final result or the conclusion, but in specific, President Higashihara and myself, if there is something, the disposition that will be imposed on us, we will share with you. Mr. Shiotsuka is in charge of smart information, so he will respond. So let me respond. I am Shiotsuka. I cannot go one by one, but in fiscal year 13 result, as I mentioned, the volume, the numbers that we've been mentioning since last year, as you know, we are up to 40 or 50 billion now, and the target for fiscal year 2014. Big data, SI, and the peripheral will be done on the global scale. So, on the midterm management plan, our target for fiscal year 2015 was 150 billion, and this target has not been changed. And to catch up for that, we are making investment in fiscal year 13, and as Mr. Saito mentioned, we will continue this in fiscal year 14. The investment will continue so that we can achieve 150 billion. So far, things are going well as we see it. That's all. Thank you.
Next question, please. A question. I would like to talk about the near-term information. For this fiscal year, in terms of information and telecommunication system, in terms of voters received, compared to previous year, the outlook is flat. Please elaborate on the background. And also, having entered June of this year, what is the prevailing activity currently? And please elaborate on the recent trends. Answer. In terms of orders received, in terms of operating the organization, we are being conservative because it has to be linked to revenue. Domestically as well as overseas, it is prevailing at low levels. But domestically, there are some activity, and activity will have an impact. In terms of public sector related, there are some uncertainties, and that is the reason why we cannot elaborate in detail. But domestic current level can be achieved. Now, on the other hand, for overseas, now, we have a new product that has been introduced. There was a delay about 1 year in terms of development. Hitachi Data System people have been waiting for this product to be launched. And therefore, they are highly motivated regarding this new product. Hitachi Data System should be able to achieve a growth of 10%, revert back to the 10% growth level. And therefore, inclusive of global, talking about a little bit less than 2 trillion or 1.9 trillion, that is the target, but I believe that the 2 trillion mark can be exceeded. Question. Regarding HTS, you mentioned something that is very favorable. But what about the profit margin? It is lower than last year. But this year, 8%, reverting back to this level. Can we expect that to be the case? Answer, yes, that can be expected. As I mentioned earlier, globally, hardware, software, service, profit margin wise, hardware is declining. Therefore, software ratio or service ratio must be enhanced in order to offset this. Now, having entered this group, I have been talking about the importance of social innovation. And last year, we have made full-fledged efforts. This is implemented now, and I believe M&A opportunities should be pursued as well. Software service ratio must be enhanced so that and hardware profit margin should revert back to the previous level. Even with new products, I think we can have a profit margin, but we have to make sure that this will continue. In 2013, there was a decline, but 2014 and 2015, up until 2018, I believe that we will be on an increasing trajectory. At least we would like to achieve that.
Any other questions? This row towards the center, please. Question. I have two questions. ATM related. Hitachi Omron joint venture. What is your plan on this? According to Omron, they said it's up to Hitachi. This business is growing, and Omron makes money with hardware, and they does not make money on maintenance. So how will you divide or think about the value added with Omron? Answer. ATM, I think Shiotsuka-san is a better responder. But payment service is done by Hitachi Limited in collaboration with other segment. For example, settlement and other, we have horizontal integration. So we will do the service part. And Hitachi Omron will be utilized. Shiotsuka-san is the direct person in charge of Omron, so he will respond. Yes, allow me. But there are some sensitive issues. As Mr. Saito said, and to add to his comment, HOTS, a strong sales and manufacturing is done on a global basis, and we have a global supply chain and value chain. And so this ATM business alone, this will be Hitachi Omron Terminal Solutions. Now, as a new service cut, we will support various customers. And this was launched in April of the so-called PRISM model. This is how we plan to develop our business. So strong hardware is already there. HOTS has strong hardware, and our service business can collaborate going forward. In fiscal year 2013, ATM business result is not disclosed, but as HOTS financial result is improving, so we want to keep the momentum. That's all. And to add some more, question. As you know, Oki Denki is entering the Brazilian market, and not just China. I think there will be more ATM business throughout the world. So doing this independently is better than alliance or M&A to do this in a speedy manner. So with Omron, do you think you can still be flexible and speedy in the global development with Omron? And Nihon ATM is on the company. Nihon ATM has the maintenance job for the Japanese banks. In 5 or 10 years ago, the structure did not work, but now time has changed. This structure that worked in the past may not work anymore. And so if you could share with us your view on whether this current structure is appropriate or not. Answer. Regarding speed, you're right. HOTS, this company, HOTS, Hitachi Omron Terminal Solutions, has a good footwork, and we want to maintain that and remain agile. As you mentioned, ATM peripheral business model is changing, and we are well aware of that. Last year, we announced this externally. Smart Cash Stream solution is up and running. Customers and financial institutions, cash yield. So we are trying to improve the cash efficiency. There are business that ATM can do alone. Hitachi Omron Terminal Service can do these business on a global scale in a very speedy fashion. Now, on the global front, as Mr. Saito said, PRISM has different forms from country to country. There are patterns where banks do not own this by themselves. PRISM owns the ATM. So filling cash and operation and maintenance, this is an entire package in some countries. Now this model, you mentioned Japan ATM, Nihon ATM, it started from monitoring, but if this model expands, then this model may be possible in Japan as well. So this may digress from your question, but the domestic ATM business will be carefully looked at in developing this business. That's all. Thank you. To add some points, the current situation is the current status. I don't see any problem with the current status. But your question is taking the company in. If we have an opportunity, we will. Currently, we are deploying Prism model and HOTS is separate, but we don't see a problem for now. Now, if the market changes and if it's better if we have this as a vertical integration, then we will decide or discuss to do so. This is about the business model. This is about the profitability model. And so we want to think of all these factors. Thank you. Second question, simple question. Page 20, you show a plan. Telecommunication network is growing in revenue and profit. So let me check the background. From fiscal 2015 onward, this telecommunication network, I think you are mainly domestic, but so going global or consulting. But for the domestic-centered telecommunications, you are growing at this current pace. But what do you think of the growth beyond? Will this still remain mainly domestic or? No, of course we will go abroad. Answer, we will go abroad. The domestic carrier model will not grow much. So the sales growth, TMS, Traffic Management System, which is mainly mobile system, control the high traffic and send big data. Virtualization was included in this system, so this is required. And this is required of Japanese carriers as well as global carriers. So these businesses will be developed overseas. Hitachi Data Systems, and we are working on this. Another is social infrastructure. M2M, machine to machine. IT will be utilized and integrate vertical and horizontal system. Network has a very important position there. So social infrastructure, industry, and the manufacturing sector. Telecommunication. This will be the next core or next axis. We are starting to see some results. And that is partially included in fiscal year 15. Now with that, to prepare for that, we are taking various measures, including M&A. I don't know if telecommunication is the right word, but this telecommunication network, we will position this as one of the vertical structure. This revenue may be challenging, but we will take all these measures to work on the social innovation and make this the core of our social innovation business. Now, in this revenue, network solutions, network companies, the power company, like power and rail companies, there is a unit that does the carrier solutions, and this revenue is included. In Japan, in expanding the service, we need a new service, new system. And so this is some of the increase in 2015. So that is factored in, and that is why we are seeing a recovery. So TMS-related technology will be reinforced and grown and developed globally. And the other is social infrastructure and carriers solution business. So those will be the factors of the increase in revenue and operating income. I understand. Thank you.
We will take the last question now. A question. I have two questions. One question is 150 billion for overseas that you are contemplating. I'm sure that you are going to sell various products, but it's going to be storage or ATM. Please elaborate. If there are any other products that are hopeful, please let us know. Regarding the profit margin, 9.5% is shown here. In the past, you mentioned 10% as well. But it is a big difference between double digit or single digit, although it is only a difference of 0.5%. Have you given up double digit, or is it being conservative? Now, regarding 150 billion overseas, one is storage, and consulting business will grow. And in the area of service, as I mentioned earlier, Prism, service-related company, will drive growth. We would like to increase by several tens of billions. In the conventional platform, various services will be added, hardware service and software will be added. And Hitachi Data System, Hitachi Consulting, and newly acquired companies will make a contribution. This is included in 2015. Now, Hitachi Consulting will be driving a social innovation business, and overall, it will push up Hitachi business, and solution business will increase. But for 2015, it will be a cumulative effect to achieve the 150 billion. Now, the difference between 10% and 9.5%. In the IT industry, it's not so much related to IT industry, but the usage of big data as well as MTM are the paradigm shifts that are taking place in the industry. And toward the 2015, 0.5 percentage point has been decreased because we have increased R&D by 0.5 percentage points because Nakamura-san is saying that we have to generate profit. We have to also win in the market. Therefore, investment will be required. That is what I'm contemplating. You may have been disappointed. So instead of 210 billion, we have decreased that to 200 billion. And that is the reason why we ended up with 9.5%. And last time, we were going to generate a cash flow of 200 billion. And unless we are able to generate this, we cannot be competitive globally. So we didn't want to go below 200 billion. And 2.1 trillion with the reclassification was a decline. But we are going to maintain this, and 9.5% or 200 billion will be maintained. That is the basis of our plan that we're going to be implementing. And I'm sure we will reach 10% level in the future, but we made the revision for 2015 because of the aforementioned reasons. Well, thank you very much. With this, we'd like to bring the session on the Information Telecommunication System Business to a close.